This here is my home theater slash virtual reality gaming PC that I've been using for several years now, but it's in urgent, like call the doctor, urgent need of a restoration. So today I'm going to show you guys what I would do if you're sitting on an insanely dusty, bogged down, outdated gaming PC that needs a little tech refresh. Let's get into it. Hey, welcome to Zach's Tech Turf. Today I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to refresh this old gaming PC with a few upgrades, cleaning it out, and most importantly just giving it the love that it requires. And if you're new here and you want to see more PC building or PC restoration videos, then hit that subscribe button down below and also that notification bell. That way you never miss an episode. But before we start this video, let me quickly introduce the sponsor, Dev Mountain. Dev Mountain is a 13-week class for all of you aspiring iOS and web developers out there. Their 13-week class focuses on providing you only the skills that you actually need to go out there and start your new career in coding. They don't waste time with the filler curriculum like at a traditional college. They also feature student housing at no extra cost, a variety of different classes including UX design and QA testing, and most importantly, all of this is available at an affordable price. Head on down to that first link in the description to learn more if you're interested in getting that quick boost you need to start your new career in coding and design. Alright, so before we jump straight into the restoration process, I just want to quickly give you guys a tour to see what exactly we're working with. My wife and I built this Corsair Air 240 build several years ago at this point, and honestly I haven't been giving it the attention that it needs, as you can clearly see. Not only did I let the dust build up to a ridiculous level, I made a couple mistakes when building this thing that I definitely want to address today. Other than dusting and cleaning this thing out, here is a list of everything that I'm going to try to do today to give this PC a complete overhaul. Keep in mind that I would probably do a couple of these things a bit differently if I wanted to actually put more money into this PC build, but I just want to use some extra parts that I have laying around the studio. With all that out of the way though, let's first start with a major cleaning of this thing, which is the #1 priority. I took this build outside of my garage, popped it up on a stand, and went to town on it with the leaf blower. Now before you trolls start going crazy, I understand that there are some risks when using a huge leaf blower. However, I've been doing it like this my entire life and I've never had any issues. If you want to ground the PC before you do it, be my guest, and if you want to hold the fans in place that way you don't screw up a bearing, be my guest, but this method works just fine. After that, I was able to at least work in the PC without disgusting myself out, and it was now time to start removing all these parts that are going to be upgraded. First, I removed the MSI GTX 980, which, just so you guys know, this was my first ever high-end graphics card, so it kind of hurt to take it out and put it on the shelf. Next up, I removed all the fans because we're obviously going to be replacing them with some newer and better RGB fans from Deepcool. If you're ever doing a PC restoration like this, it's an absolute pain to wipe down the individual fan blades from all that dust buildup, but it can be done, just so you guys know. After all the fans were removed, I then took out the RAM. The only reason I'm replacing this is because these are red and I have a much better looking kit that'll fit this build perfectly. The power supply was up next, and this thing was in desperate need of replacing. This Corsair TX850 definitely supplies enough wattage, but it's only semi-modular, which isn't good for a tiny case like this, and it has ketchup and mustard cables, so that's a no-go. Finally, the last thing to remove was the CPU cooler, and that's because we put the stock cooler on here when we originally built it, which means we were really limiting what the Intel i7 4790K could do. With all the parts out of there that I wanted to upgrade, I did a final wipe of the dust, and I was left with this almost completely empty box, which kind of just looks sad. It didn't really hit me just how much I needed to upgrade this thing until I visualized how we're only keeping the case, motherboard, and the processor. The first new part in my tech refresh lineup was a new power supply, and here I went with the Roswell Photon 850 that I talked about in my baller $1,500 gaming PC build guide. This thing is 80-watt gold certified, fully modular, and has all black cables, which is definitely more of the ZTT style. Next up was our shiny AIO, and for this build I'm using the legendary Deepcool Castle 240 RGB, which I fully reviewed, by the way. I went with a push setup for this build so that I could use it as intake fans for the entire build, and this will obviously keep our 4790K cool enough for some overclocking. After that, I attempted to install the new color coordinated RAM. This is just a 2x8GB kit of DDR3, and here's when I ran into my only real issue with this build. I realized that I couldn't set that first RAM stick in the slot because of the tubing from the AIO, so I ended up having to rotate the CPU cooler cooler 90 degrees, but after a few minutes I finally got that RAM stick in there. Getting towards the end of this restoration, I installed the two Deepcool RF120 RGB fans up at the top for exhaust. I've definitely been a fan of configuring my fan systems like this lately because it keeps the dust from entering from the top vents of the case. Finally, the last step of this restoration was to put in a new fresh graphics card, and you guys already know I decided to go with my EVGA GTX 1080 Ti, and this finally gives it a proper home for this graphics card instead of me using it as a coaster on my desk. Watch that video in the top right hand corner if you don't know what I'm talking about. So here's what the home theater slash VR gaming PC is looking like now. It's all cleaned up and looking super fresh with that light blue RGB, and overall it's just gonna run way better than it did before. The GTX 1080 Ti is gonna give us way better performance in games, especially virtual reality titles. The AIO water cooler is going to allow me to actually overclock the CPU and get more performance there, and the cooling is hopefully now set up so that it won't suck up as much dust so I don't have to take a leaf blower to it next time. I'm not sure how useful this video is. It's not really an in-depth guide or anything like that, but hopefully it gave you some ideas or maybe even some motivation if you were thinking about upgrading your pretty old gaming PC. Please let me know down in the comment section what you thought about this style of video where I kind of just take you along my personal building project, and definitely let me know if you want to see the performance of this P if you're interested in that. And finally, it's now time for our December month of giveaways. Like I've been saying all month, I'm trying to do a giveaway in every single video this month, and today is no exception. Today I'm going to be giving away a legit Windows 10 OEM key, but I'm not going to be posting it in the comment section because I'm sick of waiting for responses or not getting responses. So here's the key. Hopefully you guys watched this video early so you could snag it up. Well, that wraps up my gaming PC restoration guide sort of video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Now feel free to head on over to one of these two videos if you haven't seen them yet, and definitely hit that subscribe button because later this week we're doing another giveaway, probably the same style that we did today. You don't want to miss that video.